Angela Carter loved mornings at Brooks Cafe. There was something magical about the first light of day spilling through the wide glass windows, illuminating the rows of fresh pastries behind the counter. The soft hum of the espresso machine was like background music, the smell of freshly ground coffee beans mixing with the sweet scent of cinnamon, sugar, and warm bread. Outside, the street was just beginning to wake up, cars crawling past, shop owners lifting shutters, and the occasional sound of bicycle bells ringing in the crisp air. Angela wore her usual neat white shirt under a dark brown apron embroidered with the cafe's name. Her curly hair was tied back in a low ponytail, but a few loose strands framed her warm face. She had worked here for almost 2 years, and while the pay wasn't great, she loved the human connections she got to make every day. People came to her counter half asleep, sometimes grumpy, but she knew how to brighten their mood with a smile or a friendly word. The morning rush had just slowed down. A couple sat in the far corner, leaning over a shared plate of croissants. 2 older men sat by the window, sipping black coffee and talking about last night's baseball game. Angela was wiping the counter when the doorbell chimed softly. She looked up, and her heart instantly caught. A boy, maybe 10 years old, stepped in. His blonde hair caught the sunlight, and in his hand he held a slim white cane, tapping lightly on the floor. Dark sunglasses covered his eyes, and his small frame seemed to shrink slightly under the weight of the unfamiliar space. He took a few hesitant steps inside, pausing as if to listen to the sounds around him. Angela immediately put down the cloth and walked around the counter. "Hey there," she said gently, keeping her voice calm and warm. "Welcome to Brooks Cafe. My name's Angela. What can I do for you today?" The boy turned slightly toward her voice. My grandma told me to get a muffin. She said you have the best ones in town." Angela's heart melted. "She's a smart woman. We do have the best ones. Let's go find you something delicious." She guided him toward the glass display, describing each pastry in detail. "We've got chocolate chip muffins. Those are sweet and soft. Blueberry muffins with a little tang. And this one here is vanilla, topped with a sugar glaze. It's still warm from the oven." The boy's lips curved in a small smile. "That one, the vanilla one, please." Angela picked it up carefully, placing it on a plate. "You're going to love this." He reached into his pocket, and his expression shifted. His hands searched around, growing frantic. "Oh no," he muttered softly. "I think I left my wallet at home. I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to waste your time." Angela shook her head instantly. "It's not a waste at all. And you're not leaving without a muffin. This one's on me, okay?" His head tilted slightly, as though he was trying to process her kindness. "Really?" "Really," she said, placing the plate gently into his hands. "And you be careful walking home." A smile bloomed across his face. "Thank you, you're the nicest person I've ever met." She was about to say something more when she noticed a shadow moving in the corner of her vision. Greg Walters, the cafe manager, stood at the back of the shop, arms folded tightly across his chest. His face was a mask of irritation. Angela knew that look. The boy turned toward the sound of the door as another customer came in, and he carefully tapped his way outside, holding the muffin close. Angela watched him go, feeling oddly proud, until she heard Greg's voice, sharp, cold. "Angela, office, now." The words sent a knot into her stomach. She followed him into the small office at the back of the cafe, the walls lined with old posters and a filing cabinet with a broken handle. Greg shut the door with a deliberate click. "Do you think this is your personal charity?" His voice was low but tense. Angela frowned. "It was one muffin, Greg. I paid for it myself." "That's not the point," he snapped. "You left your post, you ignored other customers, and you gave away food. We have rules here, and you don't get to break them just because you feel like it." Her chest tightened. He was a little boy, blind. He couldn't even. Greg cut her off, slamming his palm against the desk. "I don't care if he was the Pope. This is a business. If you can't follow instructions, you're out. Hand in your apron, you're fired." Angela stared at him, stunned. Fired? Over a muffin? Over kindness? She didn't argue. Her pride wouldn't let her beg. She untied her apron, set it on the desk, and walked out without saying goodbye to anyone. That night she sat at her kitchen table, the hum of her old refrigerator filling the silence. Bills lay scattered across the table like fallen leaves. Rent was due in 2 weeks. Her savings wouldn't last long. And yet, in the midst of her panic, she kept thinking of the boy's smile, the way it lit up his face when she handed him the muffin. The next morning, she was still in her pajamas when there was a knock at the door. She opened it to find an elderly woman holding a paper bag, and beside her stood the same boy. "Are you Angela Carter?" the woman asked. Angela nodded. "Yes, ma'am." "I'm Evelyn Brooks. This is my grandson Lucas. He told me what you did for him yesterday." Evelyn's eyes softened. "You have no idea how much that meant to us. Lucas lost his parents 2 years ago. Most people don't take the time to see him, let alone help him, but you did." Angela felt a lump rising in her throat. "He's a wonderful boy. I just wanted to help." Evelyn smiled faintly. "I also own Brooks Cafe, and when I heard my manager fired you for this, well, let's just say Greg doesn't work there anymore. I want you back, not as a cashier, but as the cafe's new floor manager. Full benefits, higher pay, and the freedom to run things the way you think is right." Angela blinked, stunned. I don't know what to say." "Say yes," Evelyn said warmly. Angela glanced down at Lucas, who was grinning in her direction. She smiled, tears forming in her eyes. "Yes, absolutely yes." From that day on, Angela ran the cafe with kindness at its core. Customers noticed the change, how the place felt warmer, more welcoming. Lucas often visited after school, sipping hot chocolate and telling her stories about the audiobooks he listened to. And Angela began a program offering free meals to anyone in need, no questions asked. Because she had learned something she would never forget. Sometimes the smallest act of kindness can change 2 lives, the person you help and your own.